Hey, it's Heather, and welcome to Adventures in Gardening. Tomato plant tour, and we're going to do some harvesting. I'm going to show you the tomatoes that I have ready and some that are coming along, and we're going to talk about the challenges that this year has brought. But before that, my name is Heather Thibault and I garden in Connecticut Zone 6, and these are my adventures in gardening. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on my adventures. I also own a very small business where I grow and sell heirloom and open pollinated tomato plants and other kind of vegetables to my local community here. So I have a very busy spring with people, and right now I have a busy season where I am trialing and I'm observing the tomato plants, and I'm trying to make sure I save seeds for the future. Now, heirloom and open pollinated, that's my thing, okay? And I know that there are hybrids and disease resistance and things that are available out there, but no, I want the heirloom and open pollinated ones. And some of them are going to prove to be hardier and stronger. I'm looking for the really hardy, the most flavor, and the really hardy, sturdy ones. So let's talk about this year. Okay, so last year was a drought. We had a drought pretty much the whole summer, and it was the best tomato season I ever had. Okay, I had controlled water, and I don't mind watering. Now this year we had a really dry early spring, April, May, like really dry, like it didn't rain. And then now we have all the rain. So all the rain is here, and the rain just keeps on coming. And we have blight. We had early blight. There have been some losses with tomato plants. And just because I have lost them in my garden doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to lose them in your garden, because there are so many factors that come into play. But, you know, so I will never discount a tomato plant on, my cat is behind me, on 1 year's growing. It has to be several years that I look at something. So, but anyway, so let's go. We're going to take a look at the big tomatoes first down below, because I think it's still shaded down there. So let's go take a look. All right, geese, party's over. Let's go. Everybody, go on. Shoo. Go on. Go on. Woof, 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 woof. Yep. So this is where I'm growing the medium and large tomatoes, with an exception because I accidentally planted some cherries down here, but I'll show you those in just a minute. So, oh, I forgot my baskets. Oh, darn. All right, well, let's talk about them first, and then I'll go grab the baskets. So, all right, so you can see there are some really healthy looking ones, and then there are ones that just didn't make it. Now, I'm going to tell you the ones that didn't make it. Now, we've had very wet conditions. Humidity is just been really a bit of a challenge. So, obviously, I can tell you what I think the stronger ones are. Well, let's start with my little boo-boo here. So this is Green Doctor. My sister grew this one, and I just plopped it in here by accident. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grow it up and over on the top here. So look at Bonnie Best. There are 3 Bonnie Best right here. And I grow my big tomatoes on strings, and I cut most of the suckers off. And anyway, yeah, it allows me to grow more of them in a small space. And I'm growing these, specifically I'm growing them for seed. Okay, mostly for seed, but I get a lot of tomatoes out of here. All right, so Bonnie Best, like, I cannot believe how, I mean, there are some spots on the leaves, and I left them all on so you could see how very few there are. A lot of tomatoes on Bonnie Best. Healthy looking plants, which is very important to me. This is isolation for the seed, and I just give it a little shake, and then Cherokee purple. Yeah. I think every single one of them got early blight. And then classic beefsteak. Also, every single one of them. No, that's not classic beefsteak. This is German pink. Yep, they all got early blight, at least for me, except for this one right here. So we'll see how this one does here. The San Marzano, there's one. Here's another one. The San Marzano got blight. This is another one of those cherries, the Green Doctor or Dr. Green, which will go up and over. And this is classic beefsteak right here. All right, so they're still doing pretty okay. I've let a couple of suckers grow, and I'll just add another string and tie them up. So these are chocolate chestnut here. Chocolate chestnut, even if it gets blight, it just keeps going, and I have found that to be true year after year after year. Great looking tomatoes. I suppose I should show you my hand in comparison. These are the classic beefsteak. These are the chocolate chestnuts. There are a few that are larger here. There's another chocolate chestnut there. And never can go wrong with Wood's Famous Brimmer. This is Wood's Famous Brimmer. Very uniform. You can see there's blight, but very uniform fruits. And there's always quite a few of them. I did grow Brad's Atomic Grape down here, which is doing very, very well. That's a good one. I don't remember what that was. I don't remember what, I didn't label this one for whatever reason, but I think this is the Cherokee Purple. More chocolate chestnut here. And okay, this is where Pantano Romanesco starts. So they look really good. Some of them are a little smaller than others. They were planted a little bit later. That's why there are none that are even close to being ready. There is one here with blight. So that one's done. And I noticed this morning that the tops of this one is missing. Can you spot him? Do you see him? Here he is. So I will give it a few days and see if the wasps lay their eggs on it, because the wasps that hatch out of it are an important part of the bugs in my garden. They are my workers, and they go after the striped cucumber beetles. So let's see, and this is another Pantano Romanesco here. All right, so I got my basket here, and even these plants that are all dried up looking, I'm still going to pick the tomatoes and see if they will ripen here. These are the German pink. I hate letting things go to waste. So I'm curious, for those of you in other parts of the country, how is your season going? Have there been huge successes you want to share, or never again? You know, sometimes I'll have a never again. But I've tried actually a couple of new tomatoes this year. When we get up top, I'll show you that were recommended by some of you out there. So I love chocolate chestnut, by the way. It is juicy and fruity, and it is such a delicious tomato. All right, let's head up top and we'll look at the cherry tomatoes next. So this is where I grow my cherry tomatoes. Cattle panels that I put in, there's 4 cattle panels altogether. And this is early on, there were peas on this side, and Now there are some beans and cucumbers, and there's some parsley on the ground, and then there's just a mix of cherry tomatoes and a couple others here. You can see I try to keep it close, and I just weave the plants in and out of the cattle panel here. One of my favorite cherry tomatoes, we'll start with that one. This is Rosella. Let's see, so Rosella is tried and true, and it is very sweet. I think that it's very sweet, and it gets kind of this purple color, a little bit of green shoulders. Can you see that? Am I doing this right? Yep. Yeah, a little bit of green shoulders, but very sweet. So there's not a lot to pick of those because I have been picking them. Now I can pick them at this stage if I wanted to. Here's another one right here. And you can see there's a lot. Look up. All right. So I'll just be able to stand in here and pick them eventually. There's a Brad's Atomic Grape in here. One of the things when it comes to growing your cherry tomatoes tight like this is you have to open up for air circulation and get rid of leaves from time to time. So yeah, that is my full-time hobby. All right, so next to that one is, I think, just one honey drop. So this is new to us this year. And here's a split. I have to eat this before I go in the house. It has an orangey, oh, it's really good. Okay, so it has a pinky orangey look to it, and man, there are a lot of tomatoes on here, right? So let's compare it in size to Rosella. All right. So Rosella is right here and Honey Drop is right here. Now, which one is sweeter? People are going to ask me that question. It's a different kind of sweet. That's all I can say. I have one more sweet one I want to show you too. But I'm going to pick all of these Honey Drop. And I like to make a cherry tomato salad with basil and mozzarella cheese. All right, so we are going to have plenty of Honey Drop as the season goes by. There's another plant further on down the line. Right next to it is Barry's Crazy Cherry, and these, I love this one. Something is wrong with the plant though, but I believe that we will continue to get them as the season goes. Fruity, juicy, delicious little tomato. And here is another Honey Drop. Those are not my roosters. Next to Honey Drop is the one I call Mrs. Barton, which is a basic cherry, true tomato flavor. Very yummy, very reliable, and it will have them the whole season. This right here is Stupus, a Czechoslovakian potato-leafed, very large cherry. It is a favorite of mine. I've been growing it for years. I don't know if it's available out there readily for seed, but if it is, you should give this one a try. So here is the other cherry right here. This is Isis Candy, and I have to tell you that Isis Candy is probably, I don't know. So okay, so let's just recap here. So we've got, let me get a better Isis here. Okay, see how it has the little bit of orange mixed in with it? So the three sweet ones that I do, oh sure, this is Rosella, Isis Candy, and now the Honey Drop right here. All sweet, all a different kind of sweet. You just have to try it yourself to be able, I can't describe it. They're sweet. They're yummy. What a great salad they're going to make tonight. Okay. Okay, and on the end right here is a pleasant surprise. The great thing about growing open pollinated and heirloom plants is you get the volunteers. And I grew this one. This is blue cream cherry, blue cream berry. And I sold so many and saved one for myself, and I lost that one plant. But here she is. So very happy to have this one. It's juicy, not tart, and just a different tasting kind of tomato. So I'm going to go ahead and a lot of repetition in here. I'm going to go ahead and pick them, and then I'll show you what I picked. All right, so this is what I ended up with for cherry tomatoes for today. And now I want to show you the two dwarfs that I'm growing this year. And one of them is my second year growing, and one of them it's my first year growing. All right, so I have two. Oh, dear gracious, help me. What's it called? Ah, Tasmanian chocolate. Oh, good job, Heather. Okay, so Tasmanian chocolate. Did I give them the best chance next to that kale? Okay, well, here's one right here. So this is the plant, and what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to, can you see the plant well with the horseradish on the other side? I am going to weigh all the fruit from one plant. So I guess I'm going to do this one right here. I have not tasted these yet. All right, so here's the fruit. Good size, definitely ripe. All right, so we will get a cutting board and a knife in a little bit and give that one a try. Okay, so this is one purple rain plant right here. And this is my second year growing them, and the leaves are perfect. They just look super great. It is so full. It is so healthy and so vigorous. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know my big complaint with this one is that it is hard to get the fruits to release, so I have to cut them. And I am going to weigh all these this year to see how many pounds for one plant. Did anyone else try this plant based on my recommendation? Because this plant is awesome. I mean, this is a big beefy tomato on a little compact plant that just keeps going and going and going. So there are tomatoes tucked in all over the place on here. And I've got 3 T-posts here holding it up. Well, anyway, I will keep you posted on how many pounds of fruit I get off this, and look for these seeds because it is an amazing plant. Side by side, this is Purple Rain and that is Chocolate Chestnut. Okay, so let's talk about 2 that were recommended to me this year, and I had to look really hard for these seeds, okay? The one on this side is Midnight Sun, and that side is Coeur de Bout. Both of them are considered Oxheart tomatoes, and so I was warned that this was a weepy one. We know what that means, right? I mean, have you ever grown a tomato plant that just looked weepy all the time? This is a weepy one, but look at these beautiful fruits. Okay, and I have one that we're going to try. I have not tried it yet. We're going to try it for the first time today. Just weaving it in and out of the cattle panel here, trying to save my seeds there. This very few spotted leaves on this one compared to Coeur de Bout, which I have been cutting leaves off, foliage off like mad. So this is an interesting little pouch of a fruit. All right, I have not tried this one yet either, but very pretty, very pretty. So we will try this one. back here by my utility pole, and this is Red Robin right there. All right, so it's in a container, and I know it looks rough, but this little guy's a fighter, okay? Look at all of the fruits down here. So if you had a very small garden or just did container growing and wanted to grow cherries, this is a well-behaved, get lots and lots of tomatoes on this one. So this one's called Red Robin, and I sell a lot of these. And what do they taste like? I tell people that they taste like a true tomato in a little tiny package. All right, so let's go look at some of the outliers here. We should probably bring a basket with us. I'll take this one. And a lot of times I will grow tomatoes like all by themselves so that I don't have to bag the seeds. So I've got some semi-determinates that I want to show you. All right, so right in front of us here, this is Prairie Fire. I have 3 of them growing here. This one in the center is a primo example of what the plant should look like. Okay, so we are now at about 5 feet, and this is a sweet snacking tomato. All right, unfortunately, that's not unfortunately, this is right where my granddaughter comes all the time, and she likes to pick this one. Which I want you want kids to pick the tomatoes and to eat the tomatoes. So it is a beautiful tomato, and it is sweet, and oh, so many tomatoes you'll get off of this. Just look, can you see all the green tomatoes in there? Just so many. So I highly recommend this one. The foliage looks great, the plants look great, and it's just being held up by this little guy here. I've got one more I want to show you. All right, so right in the middle of all of the peppers here is Principe Borghese. It is also a semi-determinate. I love this tomato, love, love, love. I love to cook with it. And it's also a very yummy, tasty, fresh eating, but I've got so many for fresh eating that I can pick and choose. So, this is what it looks like. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh my gosh, it's such a great tomato. So you can use them to make sun-dried tomatoes, or you can, roast them in the oven, and they hold their shape really well. Juicy, very meaty. A little meaty cherry tomato. All right, so let's go try some of these new tomatoes out. All right, so I've got 3 that I'm gonna open them up so we can take a look at them, and I'm gonna taste them and see what they're like, and I'm gonna cut them in half so we can see it. So the first one is gonna be this chocolate chestnut. Ooh, very, very juicy. Okay, that is a beautiful, oh, it smells delicious. That is a beautiful looking tomato, huh? Got a lot of nice seeds on the inside. This is a good tasting tomato. It is not sweet, and I could definitely see it on a sandwich with some salt. But very good flavor. Okay, next we're going to do Cordobu. This Oxheart pouch-shaped tomato. I'm going to cut it down the center again. And that's what it looks like. Very red, beautiful. I'm sparing you for having to look at me eating tomatoes. So this is definitely going to be great for cooking, for canning, for sauce. Not so much for eating. But that is a nice tomato. Okay, this is Midnight Sun. Look at that beautiful coloring on it. This is also an Oxheart. Ooh, that is a beauty. Look at that. Gorgeous. Definitely not as juicy and drier, I guess, meatier. I could see this being a good cooking tomato as well. So I like both of them very much. I'll probably offer them to customers next year. I have a hard time with people. People don't really buy cooking tomatoes so much here for me. But Black Icicle is my favorite plum tomato because it has these traits, you know, less juicy and meatier, and it is a little on the sweeter side. So, but this is nice. I like this. All right, so that completes the tomato tour. Right now, there are other tomatoes still. There is Early Wonder and Alaskan Fancy that are determinate tomatoes that I grow as a second crop. And I've got Evil Olive still that, you know, it's my fault that it's not doing super well. And of course the Green Doctor that we'll try another day. So we'll revisit the tomatoes again and again, I'm sure, as the season goes by. So I just want to say, you know, roll with the punches. Whatever the weather is, whatever the year brings, it's just going to make you a better gardener. And right now it's starting to get a little hot, so it's time for Heather to get a hat and a cold drink. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed spending time with me today, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next adventure in gardening. See you soon.